Hey everybody, it's me, Greg Miller. Did you know the holidays are coming up? That's right, Christmas, Kwanzaa, Groundhog Day, they're all right around the corner. And if you need the perfect gift, let me tell you about Movement Watches. We get it! Holiday shopping can be tough, but thanks to Movement Watches, all that gift-giving anxiety can disappear with the press of a button. These watches make the perfect purchase for just about anyone in your life, guy or girl, and remember, they start at only $95. You've heard me, that's right, me, Greg Miller, talk about Movement Watches before, and I'll tell you why, because they sent us a whole bunch of them. I got this cool black one with a red face. Kevin, you seen this watch I'm wearing sometimes?
I have.
I only wear it with the suits, because I want to look very, very nice.
That's my same policy with my watch.
Exactly, because I look like a schlub every other day. But when I want to step it up and say, impress the in-laws, I wear the watch. Now, you might say, Greg, you're not married, but you understand what I'm driving at. Jen's got parents. God damn it. Can you just keep up with the references I'm making, ladies and gentlemen? Movement watches start at just $95. At department stores, you'd be looking at $400 to $500. So it's simple. Get 15% off today with free shipping and free returns by going to movementwatches.com/kinda. Ladies and gentlemen, that's mvmtwatches.com/kinda. This watch has a really clean design. Seriously, Kevin's been getting compliments left and right about it. Now's the time to step up your watch game. mvmtwatches.com/kinda. Watch what happens next. That's not they don't have a tagline. I made that up.
You can stop now.
Is that a good one?
No.
Oh God, they do have a tagline. Join the movement.
Oh, and I like it
Yeah,
too.
I like that one too. Topic number 2, Miss Movies.
Hey.
What do you have for us?
It's me. Okay, so this is kind of interesting. I'm going to present my topic in the style of Colin Moriarty. So here we go. I went to theater
on your
school.
spectacles.
Oh
Went to
God,
theater
there's
school.
2 of them now. First off, try your
Put on
old
my
fashioned.
spectacles.
You have your old fashioned.
To be fair, from
truly
my
Colin.
perspective, there's 3 of them.
Cheers. Thanks for coming again.
Thank you.
Cheers. I'm not going to cheers you with
Cheers.
water. It's bad luck, but
Cheers.
cheers.
I
I
have
have coffee.
All
I'm
right.
just in my brain. I'm cheersing everyone, except for Kevin.
Okay, so I've been thinking about this topic for a long time, and I want to see what you guys think about it. Muscle memory. Muscle memory is defined on Wikipedia as being used synonymously with motor learning, which is a form of procedural memory that involves consolidating a specific motor task into memory through repetition. When a movement is repeated over time, a long-term muscle memory is created for the task, eventually allowing it to be performed without conscious effort. So some examples include riding a bicycle, typing on a keyboard, typing in a pen, playing a musical instrument, martial arts, dancing, commercial jingles, songs. So I want to know, when does muscle memory kick in for you, and what other memories go along with that?
Commercial jingles and songs
Yes.
fall into this category?
They absolutely do. Have you ever seen when there's like a documentary, and I can't remember the name of it, but where they go to a nursing home and they start playing music and people can actually like start singing with them, people that never speak. And
The
that would
Notebook
be,
was the movie.
there you go.
Remember
The
this?
classic document.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
All the memories just come back. So for me, it happens whenever I go to a USC football game. So anytime I go to a USC football game, I was a USC song girl. So I know all of the cues for the football team. So I know when it's third down. I don't have to be watching it. I know exactly what's happening because nothing has changed.
What happens when it's third down?
When it's third down for us,
Yeah, song girls
for the
or boys. If there's a song, is there a song boy too?
there's-
I think she
yell
means for the
leaders.
Trojans. I think
the
she means when it's a
Trojans,
third
yes.
down for the
When
Trojans.
it's a third
Right,
down,
what do
we
we
do
do?
the dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. Charge.
Right.
Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. Okay, so that's what we do on third
Okay.
down. But
Did
there's
you ever
certain
do,
things.
hey, it's cold in here.
There must be some huskies in the atmosphere. I said
That was
bird.
the John North High Huskies. Oh, whatever.
Wait, you guys? Oh no.
I didn't go to USC because
I was gonna say you guys just ripped off Bring It On, but you went to school in like 1974. You didn't rip off Bring It On. That was way before you.
Very true. I was in high school in the 90s when you were a zygote. Those pictures you've been putting out on Twitter lately, Oh boy.
Yeah?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You enjoying them?
There's a
walk
steady
down?
progression upward for you, my friend.
Yeah, no, I definitely have aged well. There's some more zingers coming too.
Oh, great.
I can give you the personal look later. Don't worry.
Hard to believe, and I'm sorry for the non sequitur.
Oh,
Hard
as
to
if the
believe
Game Over Greggy show never goes off topic.
that you can have so many unique looks as a child,
Or some Kevin's putting
and
them
they
up
could
right now.
all make you look slightly like the formative years of a serial killer.
Sure. Oh yeah. There's a
And
lot
they're
of
all-
documentary footage there for
They're
you.
here. They're
oh,
all
yeah.
they're all there. I saved
It's
them
in
the
the
hard drive.
eyebrows.
Yeah.
You
The
got
eyebrows.
some fierce eyebrows.
I got
as a
one
kid.
coming up. Let me tell you, I got one coming up. Colin Moriarty. If I'm lying, I'm dying. Playing the alto sax. And let me tell
Stop.
you, it's a profile pick.
What'd you have against the tenor sax?
You know what I mean? It was just
big.
yeah. It was
Soprano sax.
Exactly. No,
Kenny
small.
G.
No, okay. All right, everybody,
Sorry.
stick with it here. I'm just saying, this photo looks good. I got the huge cheeks out there. I got the huge fat neck, the huge fat body, and I'm going to town in this thing.
Tiny little sex.
On my way to what would become a silver medal at band. In band, I want you to know.
Silver.
It was the first, I didn't play sports. Thank you, Kevin. Where you got the individual trophies. So when I got the silver medal, I was happy enough with that. All right, it's not bronze. At least, you know what I mean? Because I didn't commit to this, Colin. I'm not practicing the saxophone every day. I was able to fool these idiots into giving me a silver medal. I was excited. I opened up the day we got it. I was walking out. Somebody bumped me. I dropped it in the mud. True story.
Is it
That's
still
a
in the
great
mud?
story. Thanks, Greg.
It's still there.
I almost cried, and Mom cleaned it up for me.
Okay, so muscle memory.
I'm sure you did.
Back to
I
muscle
feel like
memory.
for me, video games is kind of the easiest answer, where there's so many games and like even just consoles, like turning them on and just kind of the process of doing stuff. I think the most recent thing would be like PlayStation, going through the menus.
Sure,
Like, it's just
sure.
like,
You know exactly what you
where
want.
to go. Really, with the PSP and PS3 with the cross media bar, like I knew how to just freaking go through that thing, and it was like I wasn't even thinking about it; it was just kind of happening. And besides that, like games like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater or Amplitude, a lot of rhythm games.
Yeah.
You just get lost. You get in that trance moment. It is just muscle memory at that point.
No, that's
where
a
you're
good one.
just
That's
kinda
what I jumped to
going.
too, because I jumped to how it used to be a thing. I remember of like trying to get comfortable and then doing the thing where I drape the controller over my head. There's been photos posted of this online, and now I just default to that. It feels weird to not play that way. And then even now playing Watch Dogs, jumping into Watch Dogs controls like GTA, right? So without the game having to tell me if I'm running, the first time I'm playing, I run up to a car and hit triangle, and I'm in the car. I know what to do.
Yeah.
So what other memories does that bring up for you though? Because like when did you start doing this motion?
I don't know. And it never made sense as to why it really started. Like I said, I guess I just couldn't get comfortable on the couch for a long time. So I started doing,
It couldn't have started until the PS3 era, the wireless controller.
good point. Great point. Yeah. And so I put it over my thing, and it didn't make any sense until now.
You're one of those gamers that don't give a fuck. You're
I'm in
just
love
like,
with a girl named Jen, and she means the world to me. And she cuddles up perfectly next to me when I do it. I've been waiting for her. My body knew she was coming one day, Tim.
I've been waiting
I was just thinking that.
For a girl like you to come into my life. Don't leave me
Get a
hanging.
copyright
Sorry.
strike. Stop. Muscle memory is fascinating. It's funny you say this because I was thinking about this the other day with typing, and you brought it up. Where once in a while I have this very cognizant thing where I'm like, how the fuck do I even know how to do
Right.
this? I've been, we got our first computer in the late, early 90s or something in my house. So I was like, okay, I know how to do this now. And like I said before, my dad used to make fun of me in high school because I had a Sony Vaio, this really expensive Sony Vaio. The keys, I used to use it so much, the keyboard had no letters on it. Like maybe like a few of the, like Z was still there and stuff
Sure.
like that. And I just knew like where everything was and how it feels. And we do take that kind of stuff for granted. Imagine there are other keyboards other than QWERTY keyboards, Dvorak keyboards where like DVORAK are the top instead of QWERTY. And I think they're using like Eastern Europe and some other places. And imagine typing on that. I remember in my high school, there were keyboards with the letters. They were just like these computers that were put away, like no one used them. I don't know.
Alphabetical order?
Yeah, they were alphabetical.
Yes.
They were like 386s with like out, like, and I was
Sure.
like, how the fuck? Like
They-
that would
didn't
take
they have
years
to-
for me to figure that out.
They had to get rid of those because people would type too quickly and then it couldn't keep up with them. That's what my typing teacher told me when I was in
I
eighth
don't
grade.
believe that. That sounds like bullshit.
That sounds like an urban legend.
No, that
knows?
was
I've
that was
never
the
thought
theory,
about
right? Isn't that
the-
the theory behind the QWERTY keyboard? Is that when early typewriters rather,
Right.
would get stuck if people typed too fast, and so they thought,
So they designed to
I'm
slow
gonna,
you
yeah, they
down?
designed to slow you
Yes.
down, and then people just figured it out and learned it, and then it kind of screwed them. That's what I heard. at
Doogie
least.
Howser.
Because I feel like that's the type of thing that we as a society would have broke if that was true. Because now it's like we would have transitioned over to something else to be quick and efficient. Because it's the type of people
I think
we
it's just
are.
one of those things. It's like we're still on using.
Well,
miles
it's
per hour.
now it's just natural
You know?
again,
Yeah.
right? I think I'm typing for sure is one of mine because I remember, doing all the classes throughout high school or whatever when it was like go and take your typing class or whatever, and I was great and I did a gajillion words a minute, and then they would cover my hands and I would fall apart because I was looking at the keys, right? Or so I thought, and now it is that thing where I'm typing and I'm like, oh right, I'm not looking at the keys, but it's also that thing of if you put down a keyboard all blank in front of me, I don't know if I could. It would be a lot of this, right? Of trying to walk it through in my head, but like off the top of my head, I don't think I'd know where.
But that's a mental block, right? Because you really look like I just put my hands on the keyboard and started typing. Like
I'm talking about now, yeah.
But yeah, knowing that things aren't there, I think would be the more mental block for anyone that was
Yeah.
typing now. It's funny. It's kind of mysterious to me how we've come to accept the QWERTY keyboard because again, it isn't the only type and. That to your point, like why hasn't someone come and been like, we can if everyone just dedicated themselves to learning this different keyboard, we could type faster. It's the same thing with the people out there trying to get like different calendars and like there are people that are like this calendar system makes no fucking sense. So like there's a different calendar system we can use or like, and I'm like, but no, we like our calendar system is just fine. It doesn't make any sense. Or like the imperial measurement standard that we use here, which we're the only ones to use it. And I love that we're the only ones to use it because it makes us so weird, and it makes people are so angry about the United States around the rest of the world. I love that this is one of those things where we almost got there. People forget in the late '90s, early 2000s, we almost switched to metric, and that was like a thing that was going to happen.
I remember them
like,
trying to teach that shit in my school. Get the fuck out of here with your communist rhetoric. I don't need it.
I'll tell you what the most annoying thing is that when you have a keyboard, you're typing on a keyboard in a foreign country that's almost like our keyboards, but it's like 3 letters off. And so every word has one thing that's completely wrong.
Nick, that's just you.
So I had that in Morocco. Like in Morocco, it's not the American keyboard. It's obviously I don't know what
The
it is.
Moroccan keyboard.
I assume so, but maybe it's something different. But yeah, it had a few of the letters were just completely just off.
Yeah.
And I'm like, fuck. It's maddening because you're typing, you're looking, and it just immediately stops you, and that anger starts to build. As like, why is that B and A? I don't understand. Like. It's trippy.
Man, I've never thought about keyboards like this. Like there's been many shower times with Tim where I've just been there and I've been thinking about like, man, the Japanese sure have a lot more characters than we do. How do they type things? And that'll just get me lost in thought. I never actually look it up or anything.
And you get out of the shower, you're still covered in soap.
they
You're
have-
like, fuck!
They have two different two different written languages.
kanji
Kanji
and,
is like more for like syllabic, I guess, like syllabic stuff. Is that how you would say it?
Sure.
I think so.
But still, I mean, do their keyboards have those characters on them?
No, they don't. Like I mean, I saw many computers in Japan when I was there that were using totally QWERTY keyboards.
And exactly, and that's one of those things. I never looked it up like after the shower, but there's been multiple showers that I've thought about this, but I've never thought about like why is the QWERTY keyboard designed the way that it is? Like who decided what letter goes where?
Mr. QWERTY.
I thought it was that the I mean, it could be to slow people down and to keep the the little typewriter typey things, the metal things from
That makes
away from each
sense.
other. But the thing about the keyboard, like it is designed to use. We're seeing here, Kevin's bringing it up. The letters that we're supposed to use infrequently, I think, are on the outside, or letters that I think are like I've read about this at some point. I'm sure that so
Sure.
where like letters that you would tap twice, P's and L's, for instance, are on the outside. But think about like it's no coincidence that Q, Z, and X are tucked away in the corner. In the middle is like some properly used consonants.
Right in the middle, G.
And then the vowels are all on the top.
Yeah.
So it's except for A is obviously in the corner next to caps lock. So I'm sure that there's a lot of nerdy ass shit out there about why it's written, but I think some of it has to do with like what we use the most and what we don't use the most, and the direction in which your fingers travel.
But like, man, just imagine being in that room of the dudes that are like, okay, which letters do we use the most? We gotta
It was
think
some
about
sort of
this.
committee, and it took like
Oh, way
5
too
weeks.
long. Or
It was like a
just
Sunday- it was like a
someone
Or
else
it was
in the
one
bucket.
guy who sat there. Yeah, you never know. Get them home keys.
fascinating.
There's a little
See if you
indentation.
can bring up the Dvorak keyboard, DVORAK.
But do you have any other memories that go along with it? Like I remember when I first took this class and all the ridiculous things that we had to do.
I remember typing class.
Yeah,
in middle school.
Typing was weird for me because I was really young when it first became kind of a thing with the computers and stuff, and my school didn't really have it, so we only had pieces of paper that they like would teach us
Oh.
fake ass paper. And then I didn't have a computer or anything in my house, so
fuck is
I was
that?
super late. Like I didn't learn to type until I was in like probably high school, like ninth grade.
Oh, I remember being in high school, and it was a social studies teacher whose name I don't remember. Mr. Flynn was the gym teacher. He was cool because Mr. Flynn, you could tell, just did not give a fuck.
Shout out to Mr. Flynn.
Shout out, Mr. Flynn. Tim, you remember when I showed you all the photos from prom my senior year? He was the guy I kept bringing random things to, and he was very angry in every
really
photo.
didn't like
he
it,
did not like that at all.
Yeah, he wasn't.
But anyways, I remember when the guy walked over and he's like, I was taking the test and I was failing the test. He's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "Because my hands are covered." I'm like, "I cheat." I never do what you say. I look at the keys, and this is how I know to do it. So now I don't.
And then on the other hand, there's all my other friends are like the type of motherfuckers that are like, I'm the fastest typer in the world. I'm Sean Finnegan. And I'm just like, dude.
Sean Finnegan also.
Fast typer?
Sean Finnegan claims he's the fastest
He
typer
also
in the
claimed to be
world.
faster than Kevin.
So does every
Jury's
single
still
person
out.
I know claims they're the fastest typer. And to be fair, they're pretty fast.
Well, what are we
typers.
judging this off of, though? Is there an accuracy?
Words per minute.
Yeah, there's like weird. It's accuracy. There's like websites you can do that like speed type stuff.
Oh, interesting,
It
okay.
stresses me out. There's nothing that gives me anxiety like those typing.
Yeah, it's like
Because I'm
an
horrible
SAT
at it. I
course.
just can't do it. And that's my thing. Thank God for spell check. You talking about the Morocco keyboards, that's just my normal life. I just kind of write things, and then before I send the email, I just go back and right click and just clickety do.
You want to know what's annoying as fuck? When you're writing something and someone's over your shoulder, and like you make a typo, you make the typo, you keep going like you made a typo back there. I'm like, I know. I have a system for how I write emails or text or whatever.
Yeah, fucks.
Text, actually, I just send away. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, it's
Autocorrect's
stupid.
broken me. I don't give a shit. You want to make it fucking, I'm trying to write something and you just change it to a completely different word, you win, all right?
I
You
turn
win.
off autocorrect. I just live my
See,
life.
I feel like it helps more than it hurts. I feel like there's plenty of times I'm writing and it does autocorrect to what I'm trying to say.
Not for me.
But then
I
it's
don't know.
then it is
It
the
Think about
messes up
spelling the
my
word
flow.
linguistics. That's not happening.
Linguistics?
Yeah, or any
I feel like
monos.
linguistics is
Do you think you can spell linguistics right now?
Yeah.
I'm not going to put
Lay
you
it
on
on
the
me.
spot.
Well, I've listened to cunning linguists my entire life, so I know how to spell that.
Scholastic.
You're talking a lot. You're talking a lot about knowing how to spelling without spelling.
Linguistics?
Yeah.
You don't
L
have to spell linguistics. It's
Y.
not a big deal.
N G.
Is there really a Y in the second one? I would have said I, right? I'm pretty sure I know what's going on. Okay.
So that's why I'm wrong.
See, you're spelling it the way cunning linguists spell it.
I am spelling like the cunning linguist spell it. You are correct.
That's awesome.
Did you realize it wasn't spelled that way?
They've broken you. I love that. That's
So,
awesome.
Interesting
all
note.
good.
Kevin brought up Dvorak keyboard things that I was just looking at as he was bringing them up. I always assumed that. I don't know why I assumed this because I've seen Dvorak keyboards, but I always assumed DVORAK was in the corner with QWERTY. That's where like an acronym, but it's not.
Sure.
You can see it. You can see it here. This is what a Dvorak keyboard looks like.
Kevin's showing it on the screen
And
right
so
now. I
the
assume.
argument-
Whoa, my God!
The argument.
What
about-
kind of magic is that, Kevin?
The argument about
I
the Dvorak
believe in
keyboard
magic,
is that it's supposed to be the most efficient way to type. So to Tim's point, like
How's he never done this
Because
before?
there should be Kevin, you brought up a thing where it shows you where the letter, like where your hand
know.
like goes.
They
Yeah,
can
it's right
see
there.
it, but now we can't see it anymore.
So I don't know if you can make that
I
any
care.
bigger so people can actually see it. But the idea with those red lines is like your fingers all start there, and those are the directions your fingers typically go in from that letter. So it's supposed to be like the most efficient way to type.
Ah.
Oh, that makes
And
sense.
so that's the thing is like, so going back to what we were talking about, like, yeah, we're a bunch of lazy fucks that learned it one way and don't want to relearn it. And
Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah.
But we
Yes.
had a second chance with smartphones. Like when that came along, why didn't they change it there? And then
Now,
Good point.
So here's one for you. Smartphones reminds me of PSN messaging on the PlayStation 3. That I could do with my eyes closed, just based on clicks, do all this different stuff. And I remember
was
when
that
PS
T9?
No. Well, I think you could have had that way, but they had the real QWERTY keyboard. But I mean, the fact of like there was a little bit of lag, so you had to anticipate. Remember this, and like you knew when to stop doing it, hit X, go down, do all these different things. And then they put out PS4. And what is it calling? I remember
The trigger now is like
the trigger doesn't
Changes
capitalize
it to
any.
capital.
It doesn't
Yeah.
that was the thing. They made a switch there where it totally fucked me up, and I had to relearn how to type on a PS4.
Well, that was what I was going to say with the muscle memory thing is that it does have, there is these quaint things that you do every day when you really think about it. On PS4, it's a good example. When they updated PS4 and updated the menus, I used to have a muscle memory of like hitting the PlayStation button, going down twice, whatever, going to the left and like hitting X and shutting it off. And now like it's not like that anymore. And I had to figure out, now I can do it again, but you have to like, it's totally different. That kind of shit throws me off. And I'm not sure that a lot of like the QA people or people that are just looking at the design of these things think about like how like they're like, well, this makes more sense. I'm like, but this isn't the way it's been. So like that's a problem for me. But NES Classic's another great example of muscle memory. I've been messing around with that a lot this past weekend, and man, like I just know how to play these games. I mean, even games like that I haven't played in years, Kid Icarus or something. I'm like, which I love. I'm like, well, I understand exactly these. You don't forget how to play these games, and the same thing with I played hockey for many years, and ice skating is one of those things. I don't skate. I used to skate every day of my life for many years, pretty much, and then I've only been on the ice a few times in my 20s. And every time I'm like, well, this is going to be it. I'm going to eat shit now. And you just get on there and I know exactly how to skate. Like you'll never forget it.
Well, that's what was so depressing about getting the bike is that I know how to ride a bike. I used to be really good at riding a bike, and I can still ride the bike. But like I talk about on Colin Moriarty Live, the first time I came to that first hill, I'm like, oh, right. I remember this. This is where you stand up and go like this back and forth. And I stood up, and man, my legs didn't. My mind remembered, but the legs did not. No. I sat back down and kicked it into the highest
that's so
gear. My
funny.
legs are just swinging around.
See, that's where video games are totally different because there's none of that shit.
Oh, sure, yeah,
But,
yeah.
like what I was talking about, like Tony Hawk, like really specifically, like start down X to restart the run, or like Smash Bros. Just there's that you hit start and then like it's just weird, like I can't even explain it now, but like a thing you do, or Grand Theft Auto 3 or Vice City where it's like those codes. Where it's just shoulder button combinations and the freaking like twirling the D-pad.
It was when I was obsessed with the acclaimed WWF games, and there was WWF Warzone or whatever, and I got that on my N64 and played it nonstop. It was crazy, and I was like the crazy kid who had the Prima guide before I got the N64, trying to memorize, because that was when it was all combo based and totally a pain in the ass to play. And I remember going to my friend Jason's house, and he had it on PS1, and I was like, oh, fuck, okay, and I jumped in, and my brain was able to black out like what the buttons actually were, and it was all muscle memory of doing it. And I remember, I'll never forget giving him his like third Stone Cold Stunner, and I was beating the shit out of this guy. Miss movies. Oh, there was no chance of him coming back. And he started,
what?
huh?
At what?
WWF Warzone on the PS1, Acclaim's last WWF game before the license jumped over to THQ, and then everything happened. But I'm the third stunner, Tim. If I'm lying, I'm dying.
Yeah.
He starts singing Madonna's "This Used to Be My Playground," and I was like,
A great song.
I appreciate that
From
a
A
lot.
League of Their Own.
League of Their Own, great film.
But you brought up
Great
something
film.
interesting a second ago with the lag.
You know, Jason. Oh no.
No. The lag point is very, very. It's an astute observation there, because that is where I think the muscle memory really comes into play. Because there's some things it's like, all right, cool, you do this a lot, that happens, but it's the weird shit that goes on where it's like when you have to wait for the pages to load or whatever. I think
Yeah.
for me with my car. Like anything that you do all the time, it's like gonna be eventually a muscle memory situation. But every day I get in my car to turn it on, I need to turn the key, but then there's like I need to wait a second before I touch the
Power
radio
to
or
kill it.
whatever. It's like there's like weird little things where everything has to be just right, and I have it down to like the nanosecond of like that's when I can do it, or else my car does this weird thing because it's half electric where it like
Dies.
does the it's like no, you need to shift back into park and like restart or whatever. So it's like it's just weird timing things.
Sure.
Where I'm like I just got
Well,
that down.
I mean, for legit just muscle memory, no interaction. I think for me, and I don't know if it's the same way for you, Colin. It's our door. Our front door baffles everyone who uses it the first time because it's an
800 pounds.
iron gate that's super heavy. But when you know exactly what to expect, it's that the push and you're like in and out. You don't get hit by the door. Everybody else they can't get it. They get in. They get hit by the door. They're trying to get it on the way out. They
Opening
can't
with
do
one
it.
hand too.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
On the one hand, where you use your the finger to like kind of turn the thing and push it. Man, that door sucked.
That door.
The door has kept you safe.
It's straight from the zombies.
Kind of funny wouldn't it be here.
Portillo kept me safe.
Thank you very much.
That door was just there for amusement.
I think when I think muscle memory, I think playing my trumpet, and that was always the thing that when we did the animated show, I think episode 2 required me to play a version of "Shake It Off" with my trumpet, and it's funny you pick it up, and it's something that you spent so much time interacting with, and it's just that like the smell and the flood of memories that comes with it, and like I instantly think about the fight song, the Husky fight song, which I believe was the Bruin fight song actually.
Oh, no.
Because I'm sorry.
Oh, no.
Our band director went to UCLA, so I think it was the
course it
Bruin fight
was.
song. But we took it as our own and owned it.
What's
But, I mean,
interesting is the Bruin fight song is also the Cal Bears fight song, and they're both bears. Why?
because they were like,
Why'd
we need
they
a
do
second,
that?
We need a NorCal branch.
It's horrific when you realize your high school fight song is just a knockoff of somebody else.
I mean, yeah, it kind of was a little bit weird. that
Try
someone was
harder,
like-
high schools.
Yep.
All
Ours
right.
was Notre Dame. I didn't
Ours was
realize that
the Golden
until
Gophers.
Ours wasn't allowed to
Graduating.
have a fight song.
Oh,
because
Jesus God, San Francisco.
'Cause of fighting.
No more
Jesus God.
fighting. We don't want to fight.
Oh, no fighting.
Everybody's
Everybody
friends.
Wins. Everyone wins. There's no losers.
They
I
do
think it
win.
was. I think our fight song
This
was "Go
generation,
Fight Win." I
Colin.
think that's what it's called. If I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken. So let me know in the comments if you went to UCLA what the fight song's called. I can look it up, but I'm not going to remember, and I'm probably not going to check the comments.
Yeah, I know how it goes, but I'm not going to do it right now
Anyway,
because I'm a Trojan.
what's your Trojan?
So,
Let me hear
what's
it.
the Trojan song?
Yeah, what is it?
I'm
Trojan man.
No, that's not. Okay.
Am I really doing this?
Yeah, you're definitely doing it. I'll sing mine.
Well, I'll
after
do.
yours.
Are we doing alma
Okay, well,
maters
I
or
used
fight
to be able
songs?
to sing the song because when you were a song girl, you have to learn like the song and everything. So that's great. So it's like fight on for USC,
Oh,
our team
right.
fights on for victory. Our
That's where that
alma
came
mater,
from?
dear. It's up
That's
to
the
you.
USC song.
Yes.
I've heard that in so many times. That's weird. I didn't know it was USC.
So there.
because I didn't go there. To a good
Oh
film
man!
school.
And every 5 years, I get to go back and don my song girl uniform with another 100+ old song girls.
I'm so into this.
And then we get to do a routine together at halftime, and the band also comes. So it's
That's awesome.
the alumni band, and usually we do the same song every time. Actually, this time it was Tusk. Tusk is like our main song where it's like, "Fuck you, UCLA," basically. But
Shots fired.
sorry about that.
LA's crazy.
And yeah, so that was our one this year. That was a Fleetwood Mac song that the band actually plays with them on. So that's why we
okay.
use it a lot.
It's fun that you still go back. Like that's one of the things that
Yes.
If you had any pride, you would.
I'm envious of you guys because you guys
Yeah.
honestly like all three of you went to really really kind of these iconic colleges that you had these amazing experiences at. And my alumni, I've been dodging my alumni association for the past fucking 13 years. They've tried. They sent different people after me. They sent like younger kids after me. It was like, I too, hello, Mr. Scarpino. I too am a film studies major here at the University of California at Irvine. And I'm like, hold on a second. And I just put the phone down. I'll just see how long it takes for him to hang out.
I only go back though if I can fit into the uniform because you can't get a new one. So therefore, that's when I go back.
That's a good milestone
incentive.
for you. Yeah, good touchdown.
See, I wish that I could reunite all the song girls from my high school because I love them so much. But I did.
What is a
and
song
it
girl?
was
God.
kind of funny live too.
You did.
All the girls dancing with Nick Scarpino.
Those girls
to
like
Pony.
to drink.
Including that woman who sexually harassed me.
Yes.
Uh-oh.
Yes.
Hey, to be
I love
fair,
you,
she
Amanda.
sexually
I love
harassed
you
all
so
of us. So
much.
don't act like you're fucking special.
I know who you're
Mr.
talking about. I think I too was sexually harassed. Now,
I just feel cheap.
speaking of the music, I mean, one of the cool things, since a young age, I played drums, and I had to abandon them after college because you just can't play them in a city.
Can't really bring
my
them with you
neighbors on
wherever
Long
you go.
Island hated me enough. You can't have it in an apartment building, and in those times, I mean, I've encountered drums many times since then, but you just don't forget how to play. I mean, I'm rusty when I sit behind them. I don't move quite the same way anymore. But I immediately know how to play. And I remember when we went to Kevin Pereira's, it was one of those things
Blew
where
my goddamn mind because this is one that I hear all this shit about you. Oh man, I play drums, and I'm like, okay.
And 95% of the things he says he's good at, he's not. But this one time.
No, but it was one of those
What?
things, I didn't
I don't
doubt they were
believe
good
it.
at it, but it was one of those things where I was just like, I just can't imagine this. But seeing you at the drum set, it was like probably one of the most impressive things I've ever seen you do in my entire life.
Thank you.
Like it was like, holy shit, you're a magician on those things. We could have made a movie out of it, where it's like we're all just like,
Whiplash.
whoa, yeah,
Yes.
Whiplash
But a
too.
young up and coming jazz student.
Yeah.
So I like that the body and the mind.
I had nothing
This must evolutionarily come from somewhere. Like the idea that you
Remembering.
remember, like we have memory and we have self-awareness, which are things that memory is. Some animals have it, some don't. Some very limited ways. But there's got to be some sort of evolutionary reason.
It's got to be
why-
fight or flight in a way, right?
where it's like the body or the mind knows that like I have to retain this knowledge of how you skinned this bear,
Sure,
right? Or
sure.
I have to retain this knowledge of how you knocked this arrow or whatever, even though you might not
Fished.
do it very often.
Things
And
like
then
that,
10,000 years later, it's like I have to. The body's like I don't know. I have to retain this memory of you playing drums. I have to retain this memory of like it's like Erin brings it up a lot when she throws things at me, and I just catch them. Like sometimes fast are coming, like I don't even look, and I just grab them. She's like, "How the?" And I'm like, "I think it's from hockey." But I don't understand. She's like, "You don't flinch." And I'm like, "Yeah, because my hockey coach when I was a kid, when I was 8 or 9, I used to flinch when shots were really hard, and they kept shooting at my head and my chest until I stopped flinching." And then you don't, and you
Like
realize
Goldberg,
it
they
doesn't
just
hurt.
tie you to the goal.
Yeah, exactly. Like
It doesn't
Goldberg.
hurt anymore.
Because I remember that was like you could tell like I mean it used to be with the younger kids like you can just pretend to take a shot and they're like like all scared. I'm like you're not gonna get hurt. Like you can shoot. I remember my coach fucking rifling shots at me when I was like an 8 or 9 year old, being like it's not just let it hit you. It won't hurt. And once you realize that, you don't forget. And my body for some reason. Or my mind is like, we're never gonna forget this. You're
Never gonna get hit by
You're never gonna be as
anything.
good as you are. You're not athletic anymore. Look at you. You're a sad sap now. But this in your mind, so I really do think it ties back to those things where the body just doesn't know what you need and what it doesn't. So there's
Sure.
like you're just gonna remember this shit. You remember how to play the Nintendo game. You remember how to play the drums. You remember how to ride a bike. And back 10,000 years ago, is probably you remember how to skin a hide and do all these things, even though you won't do it all the time. I assume that there's some sort of. I'm sure
It's
I'm sure
repetition,
someone can tell me.
right? It's got to be repetition over and
for
over and
sure.
over again. Because mine, the reason I jumped to fight or flight, because I'm thinking of like a predator coming into the cave you're sleeping in. For me, it's the fact of like when I was back home visiting Poe and his son was there, right? This 3-year-old who loved Portillo.
Tom Brady.
Yeah, exactly. At 7 a.m. every day, he'd throw open the door, right? And I would shoot up out of bed and grab Porty and walk him outside so he didn't pee in the house. Like, I don't think a normal person should wake up and that should be their first reaction. Literally, as soon as I heard the doorknob turn, I'm like, we got to get out of here, Portello.
I mean, my first reaction when I wake up every day is, oh God. So, here we are, still here.
Still here. For better or for
Another
worse.
God damn it, I'm awake. That was a good topic.
That was a great topic.